legends never sleep. The Wrestling History Channel, time in the deep. Relive the battles, the Wrestling History Channel.
Is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar too much? We'll find out on today on the History of Roman Reigns podcast right here on the Wrestling History Channel. I'm Steve. She's Issa. Put up your ones. How you doing today, Issa?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to get into this year of Roman Reigns' career.
Yeah, a lot happened this year. We're talking from SummerSlam 2017 to SummerSlam 2018, and we get our first taste of a singles match between Roman Reigns and John Cena. And lately, this promo keeps popping up all over Twitter. I think everyone knows what it's all about, where John Cena rips apart Roman Reigns for not being able to cut a promo. What are your thoughts on this? Because it's funny when these things pop up out of nowhere.
Have you go back and rewatch it?
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Only the clips that appear on Twitter.
Well, I am an emotional. I
Where's your
like
dog?
to. Yeah, he's over here angry that we're talking about this. Look, I said since the beginning that I didn't think I hated it, and I think that Roman took that moment and learned from it. And I think that's what a lot of superstars should be able to do. But watching it back then, I remember thinking that Roman had a lot of really good digs at Cena. If you really go back and pay attention to what he was saying and what he was doing, he was hitting Cena where he hurt with The Rock. You left after you talked all this crap about The Rock. I wish the delivery would have been different, because if we would have had, which he did back, during his Tribal Chief days and got his revenge. But I don't think that. I think that he was there, and I don't know if he was nervous because he was in front of John Cena, and we all know how John Cena is, and John Cena just gave it to him. As a Roman Reigns fan, this is like, to me, this was more painful than the suffering succotash, if you want me to be honest.
I think you are right that it is more painful, 100% more painful, because it is succotash is like, oh, he's just a baby face dropping a one-liner. Watching this, John Cena just won't let Roman get the words out of his mouth. He's trying to cut a promo. It's very slow and methodical, but it's not working. Years later, as you mentioned, the Tribal Chief versus John Cena promo battles, a million times better. Honestly, when you see this promo between Roman and John Cena in 2017, it's like watching a different person. It's like Roman Reigns just got a personality transplant. Like, what's the difference? Confidence?
Yeah, I wish we knew what was going through his head at this moment. I don't think he forgot his lines, because John Cena also hit him with a lot of realities, but some of the things that John Cena were saying is what all the fans were saying. So everybody in the arena started going crazy because Cena is just hitting him with, you're just like, the only thing is that John Cena called him you're just a corporate wannabe me. And I'm like, there's like nothing that I would ever compare them, the way they look, the way they act, the way they present themselves. Like, I'm like, I get where John Cena was getting at. I'm not trying to defend Roman here, but I'm like, there's so many more comebacks that Roman could have had to that line, because Roman and Cena are the two I will least compare them, unless it comes to like now, right, in retrospect, to accomplishments and things that they done. But like back then, I'm like, no, the Shield has always been presented as this anti-establishment, and unfortunately, Roman kept that Shield look. You know what I mean? So we're still talking about Shield Roman, where I'm like, a corporate, like, I feel like John Cena is. If you tell me a corporate made John Cena, I would say Cody Rhodes, and the way he presents himself, right? I just don't think that line hit, and I feel like that was the moment that Roman could have really like hit him back with a couple of things, but he didn't. But if you go back and listen, like I said, Roman had a couple of good digs at Cena that nobody had brought up until this time, but the way he delivered them and he was thrown on, you could tell that he was bothered by this whole thing, that nothing that he said hit the way that what John Cena was saying to him hit.
That's true. It's like Roman had these bullets that turn into Nerf guns. Like you could have easily taken them down, but you didn't know how to deliver it in the right way. And the one thing I'll definitely go back on is Roman Reigns was positioned to a lot of fans, not all, to some, as the baby face, the face of the company. And that's the comparison of the John Cena Roman Reigns, where you're being set up with these unstoppable scenarios. Can you beat Kane? Can you beat Big Show? Can you defeat Vince McMahon and the League of Nations and all this stuff? Like, that's where I see the comparisons of John Cena in 2005 was jammed down everyone's throats, even if you wanted it. And the boos were there, the cheers were there, but a lot of fans who were historians were holding on to that hate. Not until the past 10 years has somebody who hated John Cena in 2005 suddenly respected John Cena for all the Make-A-Wish and all the things he contributed to wrestling. Roman Reigns, at this point in time, even though he's not the world champion, even though he's not in the world title picture, people still view him as, oh, they're trying to figure out what to do with him because they know we're going to boo him in the world title picture. So put him in somewhere else so he'll be safe and not be booed. But yet the fans were holding on to so much hate. They were like, no, we're going to boo him no matter what, because you're putting him, we know what you're doing. You're hiding him. You're just waiting to like unleash him into the main event picture, which they do later on in the year.
Yeah. There's a couple of moments from this promo, and I haven't gone back to rewatch it in a while, but they live rent free in my head. It's called a promo, kid. You're gonna have to learn to do this. I'm like, bro. And when he said I do this better part time than you do it full time, that's when I walked away from my TV. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm gonna go jump off my balcony because I lived in a high rise at the time.
I was gonna say that's when your TV just set on fire. Like, well,
yeah, that's what you're like.
Tonight.
You know, like we were talking about this last week where I told you, like, I feel like sometimes I have very valid points for defending Roman that people just didn't want to hear at the time because I'm biased. I couldn't defend this. I was like, yeah, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? Outside of the fact that he had good points and delivered them terribly, John Cena had just better lines, and you know that he's saying what the crowd feels, he's saying what the internet feels. It's just one of those moments that a lot of people felt hurt, and a lot of people felt like, oh my god, he just killed my guy, bro. And it was funny because this is one of the reasons why back at this time I couldn't stand John Cena.
Because you ripped the new one into Roman Reigns.
Yeah, because you know you're supposed to be putting over new talent. You're a part-timer now, and I guess you know the good thing, again, I mentioned at the beginning, is that you look at Roman now and you compare, you see like the aura and the confidence, and like he oozes everything that they wanted him to. Eventually he got there. But you put that Roman Reigns next to this Roman Reigns, just taking it as a learning experience and not letting it completely derail your career to being just, like you said, ripped a new one by the GOAT. You know, that really could have just sent your career on a down spiral because they put you against the best of the best and you couldn't live up to the hype.
I would say Austin Theory is a good example of that, but you handled yourself, but then you didn't really handle yourself. But on August 21st, 2017, John Cena returns to the WWE. He's been off doing movies, he's doing Hollywood, and he's a free agent, though. That means he can go from Raw to SmackDown when they tried to pretend that the draft actually mattered. But we have John Cena versus Roman Reigns announced for No Mercy. Now,
remember how people were mad that it wasn't like a big four pay-per-view?
That was my next question to you was why? I know No Mercy needs marquee matches too. I know you need big things, but you have WrestleMania, you have SummerSlam, you have Survivor Series. Like there's a lot of things going on. Why wait? Because John Cena couldn't compete at SummerSlam. So like, all right, well, how do we get our fall season to be interested? Oh, well, give us Roman versus Cena in the fall so we don't just pile all our best matches all on one show.
Yeah, and I think at this time we were really, really catering to John Cena's and at the time Brock Lesnar's availability. Whenever they could show up, we'll book something good for them. But this is the times that we really started to not know when John Cena was going to show up because he had really like gone into a part-time status. And I feel like, you know, he's filming movies. It's like The Rock. There's only a small window that you can get these guys. You book them when you can. You know, we talked about it with the S.H.I.E.L.D. triple threat. There's a couple of matches that Roman had that I feel could have been in one of the big four. But at this particular time, I feel like this is when we could get Cena, and then we're going to book him because we don't get Cena every day.
Of course, summertime is blockbuster movies. That's when celebrities are doing red carpets to promote their films. They're not going to be like, hey, let's go in September. Let's go do a big blockbuster movie. No one's going to the movies in September. People are like locking themselves in their houses, depending on what part of the world you live, because it's going to get a little cold. But weird about this storyline, John Cena and Roman, they always bring up that promo kid class and all that stuff. But somehow Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle's son, gets looped into the storyline as well. They were really trying to make him something. And John Cena fights Jason Jordan on Raw. Roman Reigns fights Jason Jordan on Raw. And they're just building the storyline based around, can John Cena beat Jason Jordan? Can Roman beat Jason Jordan? I'm sorry. What the hell are we doing here? This is how you build John Cena versus Roman Reigns, your two biggest stars of the past 20 years, around Jason Jordan?
Yeah, yeah, they did that. But they were really trying to do something with Jason Jordan at this time, though. So they were
This is
trying
not
to
the way to
just.
do it.
No, no, it's not. It's not.
Like, talk about how to we got a great storyline. What should it be? I don't know. Like, we only have the two biggest goats that we have right now. What should we do? Just do promos every week. Yeah, that sounds about right. No, we need Jason. God damn it, Jordan.
You know, the other day I was streaming, off topic, but I was streaming, and every time he comes out, because he's in production
Oh, the
now.
producers, yeah.
Yeah, every time he comes out, I say like, "Oh my God, it's Karango's son," and I have one of those moments where I felt a little old, or maybe more knowledgeable, because somebody in the chat did not know what I was talking about, and I'm like, "Go back in history. Good luck with that chapter."
Yeah. We'll do a whole Jason Jordan podcast. It'll last
Yeah,
about
but
5 minutes.
I'm telling you, though, I still refer to him as Karango's son. So maybe it worked for something, because sometimes when they do something that you're like, what the hell are they doing? It stays in your brain more than some good stories they tell.
Yeah, like his tag team partner, Shorty G. But
Oh my
Roman
God.
Reigns versus John Cena takes place at No Mercy. Roman Reigns defeats John Cena. And this is what happens at the end, though. This is my favorite moments. It's been happening to Roman Reigns for a few years now. Daniel Bryan did it. Now we have John Cena doing it. When you
Yeah.
beat someone everybody wanted to win, they have to figure out, well, we can't let Roman get booed. Well, they have John Cena pick up Roman's hand, point at him, be like, yeah, he's the guy. When you do that, that is a bullseye. Like, that's a death sentence to anybody. I'm sorry. It's no longer the 80s where if Hogan is friends with you, you become popular. Like, that's not how it works in this time frame. And what do you think about that when they keep trying to do this with other wrestlers or even Roman here? Like, grab your hand and point at him. That will help him.
It's funny. I don't know if that's like a wrestling fan thing, but it drives me crazy. I still hate it when wrestlers like do a show of respect after a match or something like that. It just feels forced, and it's just like I don't go raise my opponent's arm after I get in a real fight with someone, especially for me after as a Robin fan again after what he did to him. Like you did him dirty. You could have just taken a step back in the promos and all that, and now you're just gonna be like, yeah, this is the guy. I don't know. Maybe John Cena was like, hey, I was a little out of hand. Let me try to help him out, but it doesn't help anybody else.
No, I honestly, I don't really understand it. I understand, like, maybe if you work it at WWE and you're maybe old school minded, you're like, oh, well, this worked 20 years ago. It should work today.
Right.
It doesn't work that way anymore.
No.
Like, people are popular because their TikTok accounts are blowing up, not because they have 5-star matches anymore. Like, that's the world we're living in. In 2017, we're still trying to figure out what the internet and social media is to wrestling, and so it's just
But
strange
that's not
when
true either. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, I see what you're saying, but like, that's a conversation we can have on a different show. But it's like, if that was the case, then Rhea and Roman will be champs. You know what I mean? Like, Cody and Punk are not nobody that are moving social media the way that these other stars are. So
well,
listen,
yes,
that's a conversation.
of
for a
course,
different
of
day.
course. No,
I
I
see
see your argument.
I see your point because they're going for viral moments at the TikTokers and like that are gonna make the clips, right? We are
Yes.
in a short form era, which drives me crazy because I'm still a good old, let me put a long video in the background while I'm cleaning and listen to
Yeah.
something long, but I do think, to me, it's like it feels that way, but they're also not really going through with the people that the social media will want to see on top.
Well, how many ass videos can you watch? That's my thought. Listen, I love a nice ass, but if everyone has a nice ass, then everyone has a nice ass. Well, how
Right.
does your ass stick out? I'm sorry.
Right.
Totally
Agreed.
off topic, but anyways, it's about Roman Reigns, not about his ass.
He
No,
does have a nice ass. He's been
there you
doing
go.
sports, I
See, some
noticed.
people like that stuff. I always it's another argument for another time too, is when people say like, how dare you talk about women like that? Well, then I also see people drooling over Randy Orton or Roman Reigns or people like that. But I'm sorry.
Did I tell you the angry
Not
email that I
okay for
got?
men to do it to women. It's okay for women to do it to men. I
Oh,
forgot the rules.
1000%. I objectify male wrestlers on
Good.
my streams
I'm
every day.
glad.
And did I tell you about the angry email I got? Somebody said,
Oh.
how dare you objectify Drew McIntyre? And I'm like, and the way that I see it is like, well, like you said, I don't mind it, right? I'm very open-minded. I don't mind when guys do it. Like, if I feel like if they're going to the gym, this WWE superstars are probably live at the gym.
Yeah, of
You would
course.
think that people will want them to notice that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. it gets weird when some people like don't know how to act around them in person. That's when it gets weird, right? Because I can
Mhm.
say all kinds of things. I met Roman Reigns on multiple times. As a matter of fact, he's the only person that I go quiet with when I meet him in person because I'm like, oh my god. But that's when it gets weird. But I don't have anything against it because I agree with you. It's like I don't see, as long as you do it respectfully and you know how to act. Listen, they probably want you to acknowledge the fact that these people in real life don't look like that.
No, no. And if they do, they are usually like they work at a gym, you know,
Yeah.
because they can work out all day long. That's their job. But besides asses and beautiful people, suddenly we're getting rumors of the Shield coming back together in October of 2017, where Cesaro and Sheamus and The Miz and Braun Strowman are all beating up Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns separately. So when they beat them up separately, you're like, we're gonna get a little teasy here. Well, Roman Reigns is fighting Braun Strowman in a steel cage match. Kane returns through the ring and attacks. And now we're setting up a TLC pay-per-view match where it gets effing crazy. Okay? So you have the Shield now has reunited, but they're taking on The Miz, Sheamus, Cesaro, Braun Strowman, and Kane. In reality, how is that fair to anybody?
It's not.
5-on-3.
But the Shield is the Shield. You know what I mean? Like 3 shields is worth at least 100 jobbers.
That's true. So you're thinking, oh man, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna get 3 Shield. Oh, the Shield's back together, everybody. The Shield's back together. Nope.
Sierra Hotel India. Okay.
It's not. Because breaking news, October 20th, Roman Reigns is pulled from the TLC match due to medical reasons. Now, the story is that it was mumps. There was a mumps outbreak backstage in the WWE, and a lot of stars suddenly were removed, and Roman Reigns was one of them. Did you believe that mump story? Do you think that's the reason? Or is it, this is where he's having real medical issues and he's not going to go public with them until about a year from now?
I believe that because I believe that we heard, I don't know if it was the same pay-per-view or right before, but we heard Bray got it too.
Yep.
If I was around the same time. So it's one of those things that I just believe the story they gave me because it wasn't the first time that we have heard it.
Okay. And so who replaces Roman Reigns? You've seen the meme. You've seen the image. It's Kurt Angle, who hasn't wrestled in 11 years in the WWE. Well, he's here now in Shield tactical gear.
Oh my God.
What?
Kurt Angle was all of us Shield fan at that time. He looked like, I'm sorry, like
I'm in the outfit.
God.
Guys, I'm wearing it. I'm wearing the Shield gear. So weird that it took years for a Shield reunion to happen officially, but yet we don't get it. We get Kurt Angle. Like, what a weird, bizarre moment that was.
Yeah, but it gave us one of the greatest memes of all time.
Of all time. But this TLC pay-per-view also gave me amazing moments because the funniest thing is out of nowhere, the bad guys decide to turn on Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
And it made no sense at all in the storyline. And then they bury him under a bunch of chairs. But then Braun Strowman gets up, fights back because he's a monster among men. So what do? They have a garbage truck and they throw Braun Strowman in the garbage truck and then shut it. So we're to believe that he's possibly squished?
Dead?
Or dead?
Yeah. Yes.
It never made sense to me. The Shield win with Kurt Angle. That's great. But what a crazy ass match. And the best part about this, when Braun Strowman does return, the garbage truck backs up slowly into the arena while Miz and Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel and Maurice are inside of a limousine and Braun Strowman comes out. He's like, and that is where I fell in love with Braun Strowman. When he survived being murdered, I was all in on Braun Strowman. That's just my thoughts. All right.
Okay. Well, I not my guy, but I know how much you have love for him.
I will always love Braun and Bray. But Survivor Series is coming up though, and no Roman Reigns because he's still out with medical injury, the mumps. This is also one of the most bizarre, strangest Survivor Series matches of all time, where Triple H inserts himself into this, where Kurt Angle's in it, Shane McMahon's in it. It really made no sense. Even at the end, when Braun Strowman stares down Triple H and scares Triple H. Did we get a storyline with Triple H and Braun Strowman after this? Did we get anything after this? No. Zero. Diddly squat. It was like they were just writing Survivor Series for Survivor Series. They didn't think, maybe tomorrow we should continue this. No.
Oh, but they tend to do that a lot. Remember when we already discussed it, but they did it with Dean Ambrose too when he was forming that feud and they had that match and Triple H won, but I remember Dean's foot was under the rope and
Mhm.
nothing was ever found. It's like they gave him the match to make the people shut up about Dean Ambrose and remember that the WrestleMania match was Triple H and Roman. You know what I mean? But it was like it had a funky finish and they never really followed up with it. They did that a lot during this time. And they still do it, actually. They still tease stuff that we never get to see.
Yeah, well, let me read off the team for you. We have Team Raw. It's Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and originally Jason Jordan, but Triple H was like, not on my watch. So Triple H replaces Jason Jordan. They defeat
Not
Team
gonna work for me,
SmackDown.
brother.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me, brother. Got my sledgehammer here. Want it in your face or in your belly? What do you want? Team SmackDown, it's Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and out of nowhere, they added John Cena into the match as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a good throwback. I forgot all about that. Now you're reminding me of this, and now I'm remembering how
Yeah, you don't
freaking
want to
random
remember.
it felt.
Team Raw, if they lost, Kurt Angle would have to be fired as the Raw general manager. Team Raw won, so we didn't get that. It's just one of the strangest moments where Triple H is on the ground in the corner and Braun Strowman's grabbing his by his face and he's all afraid. And I'm thinking, oh shit, we're gonna get Braun versus Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Okay, Steve. Okay.
We didn't get that. We didn't
No.
get that. I was very sad. This is around the time though you have Raw and SmackDown having separate pay-per-views. So Raw is with Roman Reigns, so he doesn't wrestle on pay-per-views often because it's every other month he has to wrestle. So they skip the December pay-per-view. They go into Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns has returned. He's medically cleared, no longer has the mumps, but he doesn't win the Royal Rumble. He is actually second to last. He gets tossed out by Shinsuke Nakamura. I was very happy Nakamura won.
In the last two. He's either always the last one eliminated or second to last when he's in a rumble.
Well, the last four.
I was so happy Nakamura won, by the way. And they did a lot of teasing with him and Seth Rollins in this Royal Rumble. I attended this Royal Rumble. It was in Philly. And I was so I mean I hated the follow up and we still haven't recovered from it, but I've been a big Shinsuke fan and just to see him point at the sign, it was such an awesome moment because you didn't think they would go through with it. But the best part of this Rumble was we had like a past and present stare down. I remember you had Rey Mysterio, John Cena, and Randy Orton, and on the other side you had Shinsuke, Roman, and Finn Balor, if I'm not mistaken. And it just felt like a passing of the torch, one of those generation on generation moments that felt really freaking cool. But with Roman still being left in the mix, of course, people didn't want him still at the time. And I do think that helped elevate that pop that Shinsuke got because honestly, nobody thought that they were gonna do it. Nobody thought.
Nope. This is also the Royal Rumble where they had Asuka won the Royal Rumble as well.
Yeah, the first ever women's Royal Rumble, which main evented because it was the first ever women, and they did that Rumble so well. That's not what this podcast is about, but I have very fond memories of the way that they booked that first women's Rumble with the right legends, with the right new stars. Like it was fun and it felt like a celebration of how far women's wrestling has come. It was a fun event. I went to Philadelphia that day with no tickets, Steve. I bought my tickets as the gates were opening on StubHub very last minute. Listen, it's an adrenaline rush. I recommend it. You will get the deal of your life, but if you're a little scared of gambling, you might not want to do it. But yeah, I went to Philly. I sat down, had a cheesesteak, kept waiting for the time to go down. Tickets kept going down, and I'm like, bam, I'm in.
Wow. Wow. I've only done that recently where I played the game of the gamble. And as I'm driving into Monday Night Raw, I'm thinking, these tickets that were there are now disappearing very quickly, but all the tickets are going down very quickly. So you gotta make a choice. So $96 to go see John Cena win the Intercontinental title against Dom in Boston. Obstructed view. It was like a wire way over there hanging in the It wasn't even in my way. Like I could see right through it. So it was interesting that I've never done that before, but so
it is fun and it's a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I don't recommend you do it like the way that I tell people when they ask me, so if you gotta take flights and book hotels, don't do it. Get your tickets ahead of time. But if it's something that you can drive to, and if by any chance you don't hit the lotto, you can just drive back home, Why not? I was living in New York City at the time. Philly was, 2-hour drive. Why not? I got very lucky doing that. And it sounds like people are doing it more often now because the tickets prices have gotten so crazy.
Yes.
But at this time, I remember I paid I think it was like 110 per seat to get into a
Wow.
Royal Rumble that when I got to Philadelphia, the cheapest ticket was like 346. So think about it. You know what I'm telling you? The gates open at 6:30. I'm pretty sure I got the email with my tickets at like 6:50 because I waited until gates were open. They had to drop everything. I had a great view. But that's we should make a show about weird things that us wrestling fans do because I see a lot of people waiting to last minute. But man, they get some good seats.
Oh, in today's world, 100% more so than ever,
Yeah,
because for a while
they're
everyone was,
unaffordable.
yeah, it's like, what do you expect people to do now? Like, oh, well, we'd rather have you just buy a crazy amount of tickets. Well, you know what? F you, dude, because I brought this up to Sean Mooney on the Golden Era podcast where I talked about it, where they're like, wrestling fans are generational.
Yeah.
My father, my grandfather. Okay. Well, I bring my son. Say my son in 15, 20 years has a kid, but he can't go to wrestling because it's unaffordable. So then his son can't go. Then his son can't go. And then you've lost a generation of wrestling fans because no longer are we sharing memories of, I remember when I did this or I did
Yeah.
that. So you're not, I know it's a business, so you're trying to make money now. You're not thinking, well, in 50 years, we need to make money. It's like, yeah, but what you're doing is you're clipping yourself out slowly at a time. We're not realizing that eventually you'll crumble. But you're like, well, each ticket is now $7,000. We're making our money. Yeah, but what if those people stop buying your tickets? Well, then you don't have fans. You have people who have money.
It's such an interesting topic and conversation because I am with you when you think about it. My grandpa loved it, taught it to my mom. My mom passed it on to me and my nephews. We and my nephews bonded over it. That's how I
Yeah.
got back into it. And it's like really funny because even on my group chat the other day, we were having a conversation about John Cena's last match where, my nephew's like the biggest John Cena fan. And even him, who is comfortable and has his own job now and everything, was like, I don't know if I want to spend that much for a John Cena match because, that's all this event is going to be surrounded around. And it's really funny because it's very rare that I meet a wrestling fan that doesn't tell me, oh, my mom used to watch it, oh, I used to go with my dad, oh, I used to do this. And that interview that we recently heard where they make Vince McMahon look like a face because Vince try to price for families.
Yes.
And it was like crazy because I'm like, I look now in retrospect and I have sat ringside, I have do all this, and when I look at the prices now, I'm like, I wouldn't go to these events. And the way that I think about it is like, if I had all the money in the world, would I spend it on this? No, not on what they're delivering right now. I wouldn't. That's like wasting your money.
$10,000 to sit and watch Royal Rumble. I'm sorry, like or what? Not even Royal Rumble, just a normal, no mercy.
Yeah, and
Great
that's
balls
the
of
thing.
fire.
If you had all the money in the world and you look at the car and you look at how the shows are panning out right now, would you spend it on this? I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I was even questioning spending $96.
You
Elimination
got a
Chamber.
great Raw, though, for the record. Before we reel
Yes,
it back
yes,
in,
yes.
you got a great episode of Raw. One of the best I remember in months.
I was very happy about it. I'm
Yeah.
glad we talked about ticket prices because that is, you went to this Royal Rumble, Nakamura wins, you spent $110. In today's world, if you went to a Rumble now, you're not spending $110. So I'm glad we brought that up because sometimes rants are needed. I don't like being nice to be nice. Some people, oh, well, we're being so negative. It's not everyone's being so negative. Everyone just realizes all at the same time we're not enjoying what we're watching. Like, how dare you be mean? Shut the fuck up. I'm not being mean. But let's move on. Elimination Chamber 2018.
I walked out of this event thinking I got my money worth. It was a fun Rumble.
Yeah, $110, man. Roman Reigns, though, he wins the Elimination Chamber in 2018. It's the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber match, which, whatever. But Braun Strowman eliminates 5 people in the match. Then this is where all the Roman haters appear because Braun defeats everyone when Roman gets out of he's like, 3 Superman punches, 2 spears. So in reality, I bet someone's like, well, if Roman beat Braun, that means he beat Braun, who beat 5 other people. So Roman beat everybody. I'm angry. Rage.
No, he did that. I mean, Braun just eliminated 5 people. Common sense will tell you that Roman, he's going to be tired. So it should be a lot easier for Roman to beat him.
Yeah, well, the Brock Lesnar feud then begins once again. We are back in the Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar land. And this is where we keep seeing stories online about Brock Lesnar being advertised for Raws and then not showing up to them. Like you would see the week before, like next week, Brock Lesnar will be here. And then they wouldn't even acknowledge that they advertised Brock Lesnar a week ago. They're like, oh, what graphic? But this is when Roman Reigns starts calling Brock Lesnar a part-time champion. And this is all about Vince McMahon even confronting Vince McMahon. And then Roman got suspended, on television. Roman Reigns, though, is arrested by the police. And while he's arrested, Brock Lesnar beats the shit out of him while being handcuffed. You were there. Describe the feelings you had.
I love that segment. And it felt so brutal. And I was hyped for this. I know I was the only one, Steve. I know I might have been the only one.
You were the only one.
I was excited. I think the WrestleMania 31 match was so good, and I was excited to see it again. And this feud, this era, made me question everything. Like I went through a struggle as a fan because there was a part of me that obviously these are my two favorite guys. We discussed this. I don't have to go over that anymore. But there's a part of me that felt like the fans were so convinced that they're just gonna put the title on Roman that I felt like Brock was Roman's weakness. So it was a part of me that kept telling, no, Roman's not beating Brock at WrestleMania. He's not. But people thought that Brock was going to go away, especially with these appearances. He wasn't showing up. People thought that Brock was just not into it anymore. And they were just going to put it on Roman. So I know we'll get to WrestleMania, but I might have been rooting for Roman to not win here. But it wasn't because I didn't like him. It was because I thought putting the title on him would just make everything so much worse. So it was like a weird moment where I'm like, if they put the title on him, it's gonna be the end. Like they can't do it. The fans it's gonna be sorry for the word, but it's gonna be a shit show. So it was like a weird moment for me because I was struggling, as a fan. I want to see the match. I don't care who wins because it's my two favorite guys, but at the same time, I'm like, if they put the title on Roman right now, it's gonna be over. I was like, the wrestling's gonna be over. The fans are gonna stop watching.
Possibly some might have stopped watching. I always love my favorites like around this time. Even today's world, you always see it. Like, I don't need your tweet to tell me you're done watching. I don't give a shit if you're watching. I don't give a shit if you're not watching. I don't need your diary about why you don't like something anymore. I'm sorry, I don't. So please stop doing it today. Stop doing it in 2017. I don't give a shit about your feelings. We all have our own problems in this world, and I don't give a crap about your problems. I have my own.
My favorite is the TikToks or the YouTube videos where they just sit there like it's the most depressing thing in the world that they're gonna stop watching wrestling, and I'm like, it's gonna keep going with or without you. It has kept going this entire time. Like, why are you sitting out in front of a camera and and like record yourself talk about how you're not gonna watch wrestling anymore?
Well, especially around this time, because I know people stop watching because they're like, oh, well, I don't like what they're doing, so I'm going to stop watching. My favorite, I'm going to show you exactly what these videos are. So imagine the videos are recording. I'm already sitting here. My favorite is like somehow they're off camera, like, okay, I'm going to hit record. I'm going to hit record. And they sit down, they're like, oh. Guys, like, I'm just not feeling it anymore. You hit fucking record before you sat down. Like, it's all a setup. I don't care about your feelings.
The only thing that you miss is that they never really stare right at the camera. They have the camera set up in an angle where they're looking at I don't know what. That oh my god, that is so good.
They're looking at the picture of Trish Stratus with the lips missing.
Yeah, like it's gonna keep going with or without you. But I really feared. I didn't fear my own. I knew I was gonna keep watching. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. But I really fear what it will be like for Roman is at this time with all the hostility that he was, dealing with from the fans. If they put the title on him, I felt like it was a mistake. So I was like, let's just keep running with Brock. Like, if these are the two options that we got.
Yeah, and that U.S. Marshal thing was a great piece of. I loved it because nobody. Again, I'm not saying nobody, but some people loved Roman, some people hated Roman. Well, they really enjoyed watching him get his ass handed to him while handcuffed. Because the crowd is cheering for Brock Lesnar at this point on an episode of Raw when he's just beating down Roman. And again, I think in Vince McMahon's mind or creative is like, oh, if you beat up Roman, he's handcuffed, he can't help himself. Now he's getting beat up. They'll sympathize with him. They'll cheer him. But yet there is a large margin of fans who don't care about him. There's also a very large margin who do care about him. So I get why you can't cater to the online hate. I get why you can't cater to the little boys and little girls who are cheering him. So like you have to find a beautiful middle ground. But this WrestleMania has so much going on because again, it is leaked online that Roman Reigns is going to win. Like he is going to win this matchup. We are told flat out it's going to happen.
People were over, like people that are watching this. If you weren't watching during this era, you need to understand that Brock was champ for like 400 days at this point, and he's not showing up. Like he was the part-timer of part-timer. I know we see part-time now. We see Roman do the part-time thing, and not, but
it was new around this time.
Yeah, it was new around this time, and with Brock being advertised, and you will get all hyped because, believe it or not, I know people don't want to believe this, but Brock is a draw. Brock will sell tickets, and people will show up, people will look forward, people will tune in, and he wasn't there. So you have the people that a lot of the internet hates against the people that a lot of the internet are over. Like, and it's like, how you gonna, it was one of the worst matchups they could have made, even though there was a few like me that wanted to see the rematch because on paper, the WrestleMania 31 match was really freaking good and they had a terrible build. So you have people like me that I was like, well, the WrestleMania 31 went off the air with them playing tug of wars and they put on a banger. Why not do it again and shut everybody up?
Well, they didn't have Seth Rollins to save him this time, but during the matchup, Brock Lesnar removes his gloves, starts beating down Roman Reigns.
Which he did at 31.
Yes. Well, if you're a brand new fan, you wouldn't know that. And so Roman's bleeding all over the place, and there's the crowd is going wild. They're chanting for CM Punk, who is not active in wrestling at this point in time. Boring. This is awful. Beach balls are in the crowd. People are hitting beach balls. They're enjoying themselves there. Lesnar wins with 6 F5s and retains. Now, there's a video that circulates, if I'm correct, that Brock Lesnar after this walks backstage and just hums, throws the world championship at Vince McMahon and walks away. And so now we're like, wait a minute, is this real? Is this not real? Like, we're very confused because if I'm Brock Lesnar and I'm supposed to lose to Roman and now I didn't lose to Roman, like, I don't know how Brock feels about when the crowd doesn't appreciate him, because Brock's out there still doing the work. And if you can feel whatever you want about these wrestlers, they're still out there putting in the work for our entertainment.
I think that there was a lot of things that set these two guys up for failure. And I've been wanting to do a social experiment where I watch the match on mute because I do think the crowd ruined a lot of this. Like seeing Roman Reigns bleeding the way that he was bleeding, I remember just not being able to get into it because of the crowd. However, I will say that booking set him up for failure. I told you, it was one of the worst possible matchups that you could have made. This WrestleMania was a mess in the whole part that the best match was probably the opener, the IC title match, where Seth, finally won it. And you had the mess that they did with Shinsuke and AJ Styles, which we all, number one, wanted it to main event. Number two, wanted Shinsuke to win. And they gave Shinsuke this grand entrance. I think I remember this WrestleMania for Ronda Rousey having an amazing debut match. And that's about it. You know what I mean? Like everything else, I like to forget about. Oh, and Shinsuke's entrance. Funny enough, after Shinsuke's entrance, I don't remember anything else because there was so much hype going into Shinsuke and AJ Styles because of the match they had priorly put on, at New Japan. So I feel like this WrestleMania, by the time we get to Roman and Brock, which nobody wanted it to main event, and somehow they booked it for the main event, it was just. Oh yeah, Asuka loses the streak to Charlotte Flair. Like this WrestleMania, by the time you get to Roman and Brock, you have lost the fans a long time ago. We got John Cena and Undertaker, and it ended up being like a 60-second match. Like you set these guys up for the crowd that they got, and it drives me crazy.
I'm so happy you brought all that up because yes, there was a lot of like, wait, what are we doing? Wait, why is this happening? Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay. Now it's like midnight and Brock versus Roman come out. This is when WrestleMania would have started 4 p.m. in the afternoon and go till almost 1 in the morning. And me and my buddies would be watching it like half asleep, trying to get through it, knowing we have work or kids or something to do tomorrow morning. I'm very happy they moved things to Saturdays, but very strange. And Roman Reigns is now no longer, he's not going to be champion here. And bloodied up. So what do we have? What should we do? Should we move on beyond this? No, because we have Royal Rumble. / the greatest Royal Rumble of all time in Saudi Arabia. It's a steel cage rematch. It's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Well, the ending is Roman Reigns spears Brock Lesnar through the cage. And I'm watching this like everybody else, and I think we're all thinking the same thing is, well, both men fell out of the cage. So technically somebody won because you hit the ground
Right.
when you fly over. Well, Roman Reigns clearly lands first on the
Yeah.
outside. Clearly.
No,
But we
no.
can't have that. The referee rules that Brock Lesnar escaped first. So technically he's incorrect there. But yeah, massive controversy. Nobody was happy here. And Roman Reigns claims conspiracy theories that he got screwed here. And this is, again, a point where you're like, okay, you're trying to protect Roman, but you are not helping with
Not
these camera
helping
angles.
Not helping him. That I would have not even shown a replay of this if you didn't think it landed the right way, because man, poor Roman. Roman's been through it. We owe the tribal chief an apology. It's so funny because obviously we know how I feel about both of these guys, but I feel like to protect my mental health, I mentally erased this match off my memory.
Yeah, well, I just think...
Wait a minute. Let me take that back. I erased the entire greatest Royal Rumble out of my memory because that should have never freaking happened.
How dare you? Braun Strowman won a 50-man Royal Rumble match. 50 men. Remember, he had the Saudi championship and he held it up? He's still champion. He never lost it.
The only thing that lives in my memory from this event was a picture of Daniel Bryan's chest looking insane.
Yeah, this is not a good event.
No,
again, I'm guessing they got $50 million to have the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. And as we podcast, maybe in 10 years, listen to this, but Royal Rumble and WrestleMania will be in Saudi as well. And millions of dollars are there and people are upset. But guess what? Money talks to corporations. And that's what happened here.
By the way, meet my dog, Roman.
There we go. I think if anyone knows Issa, you have seen that dog on the streams that she pumps out every single damn day of the week. So she's a trooper. She's suffering
it's so funny,
for all
though,
of us.
Because I like to make sure everybody knows that my dog is about to turn 8 because I was accused one time of naming my dog Roman, like post tribal chief. Like everybody likes Roman. Now I'm like, no. This was I named my dog Roman when you guys didn't like Roman. Thank you very much.
Good point. Yeah, screw you people. This is a therapy session. God damn it.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Samoa Joe though returns to the WWE, calls Roman Reigns a failure. And yeah, we got our big matchup at Backlash. It's Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. And I texted you about this. Backlash 2018, as I said on our last podcast about Extreme Rules 2016, this Backlash is one of the worst WWE pay-per-views of all time. People always say December to Dismember or, certain WrestleManias. No. This Backlash is one of the worst. This is the first time I've ever watched an event while the match is happening. And I said to myself, you know what? I think I'm wasting my time. And I shut it off. And I said, I am done here. I didn't even have to go on Twitter. The next day, it was all about how terrible Backlash was. Do you remember the Samoa Joe Roman Reigns setup? And do you remember this Backlash?
Yes, I remember it because it was in Newark, New Jersey, which is one of the places that I tend to attend every time they came to it, and I didn't go. Now I wasn't feeling well. It wasn't like a decision on purpose because of the car or whatever. At this time I was attending everything that I could.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember not going, and then I remember watching the event going, maybe it's a good thing I'm not feeling so hot today and I stay home because I was gonna do I do remember looking at last minute tickets that day and they were cheap and there was a lot available and I was like, maybe there's not so much hype going into this. I was excited for Roman and Samoa Joe, just because, come on, I remember tweeting out memes like, because we all know Roman's real name is Joe.
Yeah.
I remember tweeting out memes of Samoa Joe on you order on the internet versus what you get, those kind of things. So I was having fun with it, but my God, this event was terrible.
AJ Styles versus Nakamura ends in a draw. Yeah. So
they never recovered. I feel like AJ and Shinsuke never recover from this feud because they did them so dirty. It's so bad to get them like AJ recovered a little bit better than Shinsuke, but we haven't really seen AJ being anything of major interest post this.
No, Carmella also beat Charlotte Flair. If you want to know how we're dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, we had. Isn't this the Ellsworth thing?
We've exited the Ellsworth era of the WWE, but we have Rollins versus Miz, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss, Jeff Hardy versus Orton, Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass.
My God!
And this is when he came out as a heel and he covered up the C of his name, so it says Big Ass on the giant monitor behind him.
You know, when we
Can't teach
discuss
that.
these kind of things, sometimes a lot of people are complaining about it right now, and I'm like, no, we've had some bad times, man. This is normal. It happens. Funny enough, it's typically around this time of the year too.
Of course. Money in the Bank is after this.
Because Money in the Bank has been all over the place.
Yes.
Let's discuss that. I
Yeah,
was like, I remember Money in the Bank being this time of the year, and then they moved it to after SummerSlam, and I'm like, wait, what are we doing? Now next year it's in September or something like that. What are we doing with Money in the Bank?
I don't know, but it's strange that like Money in the Bank started at WrestleMania 21, and then years would go on, and they realized, oh, it's profitable. Let's have our own pay-per-view. So one year they actually had Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and a Money in the Bank pay-per-view that year. But then since then, we've had them all over the place. Sometimes the fall, sometimes the summer, sometimes the beginning of the year. Like, what do you prefer? Because honestly, I did love the Money in the Bank for a long time, and now I effing hate it. Because once someone has it, every championship match, you're like, well, I don't care about this because I'm waiting for someone just to run down and do a little cash in or attempt to do a cash in. It ruins the matches because you have a briefcase that can ruin the entire ending.
Plug, I made a video conspiring about whether Triple H loves Money in the Bank or not, because you know that was going around that Triple H hates the concept. And I talked about how much he's booked his briefcase holders the same way, which is teasing so much that when the cashing finally happens, you don't even care, you know, or completely burying the briefcase by having them lose it immediately, Drew McIntyre, you know. But I like the thought of it when they book it the right way. They really did it in a way where it elevated the person. Seth Rollins was somebody that always felt like a threat with the briefcase without having to tease a cash in every freaking championship match. You know, Io was another one in recent memory that I remember. She had the briefcase and she cashed it in fairly soon after, but she wasn't teasing a cash in every single time. So when she did it on Bianca, it hit, you know. But I like the concept. It's just I wish they would just do more with it.
Agreed. Or figure out a different way to present it, like have a clock on it versus not a year. Like you only have 30 days, like something on the lines of that. So it makes it more like, oh, next 30 days he has to do this or she has to do this.
And it makes you want to tune in because it has to be done, you know, by a certain time. Yeah, I like that.
Have a countdown clock going on that damn. Have a clock actually on the briefcase. Then you can buy it and put it in your room as your alarm clock for work or school. Look at that. Double edge. So Roman does not win Money in the Bank. So we supposed to have Brock Lesnar defend the championship Extreme Rules. According to the rumors, Brock Lesnar does not want to wrestle this month. So Vince, whatever you want, pal. So Brock doesn't wrestle. So we're leading into Roman Reigns saying he's an uncrowned champion and he's the #1 contender, even though he lost the Money in the Bank match. Bobby Lashley.
He didn't lose at the Greatest Royal Rumble where he landed first. He was still going with that conspiracy.
Well, that's true, but it won't show that video replay, so that doesn't matter in today's world. So then Bobby Lashley suddenly is inserted into this storyline where Reigns and Bobby Lashley have to team up to take on the Revival, FTR. And can they work together? Well, they can't work together. So they have a match at Extreme Rules. So the uncrowned world champion Roman Reigns loses to Bobby Lashley here at this event. Well, guess what happens the next month at SummerSlam? Does Bobby Lashley fight Brock Lesnar for the world title? No. He doesn't. No. Roman Reigns, who just lost to Bobby Lashley, is suddenly now the #1 contender to Brock Lesnar's championship at SummerSlam. Tell me how that makes sense in your brain.
Because they saw how the crowd reacted to that WrestleMania 34 match, and they were going crazy. They were chanting the whole match. Let's book it again.
That kind of makes sense. You know what? That actually does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kurt Angle made as the Raw general manager 2 triple threat matches. Kurt Angle, so Roman Reigns defeats Finn Balor and Drew McIntyre. Lashley defeats Elias and Roman Reigns. Then Roman defeats Lashley in a match to earn the championship match. And, you know, I guess the controversy around this is Roman must be pushed no matter what. Doesn't matter if he lost. Doesn't matter if he wins. Keep pushing Roman. But here we are. SummerSlam. Do you think... Now, honestly, take your Roman and Brock Lesnar hats off for a minute and honestly think, do you think as a fan who's paying money to go to these or watch these events, do you think that they're interested in seeing Roman versus Brock again? Or this is like what you just said, Vince saw reactions, so he sees reactions, which means we're doing something right.
I was at this event.
You were at this event. Okay.
Yeah, this was when SummerSlam for some reason was in New York every year, so I got very lucky with 4 great weekends there. But because I think it was 4 years in a row, I felt hyped around the event, not necessarily the match.
Hmm.
I hope that makes sense. It was a
Yeah.
whole weekend. They will make a weekend out of it like they do now. All right, we were getting NXT, we were getting SummerSlam, we were getting Raw. So there was a hype. The place was crowded. Was it this match that drew them in the building? No. But people were excited to be there.
Hmm.
And it sold out. And it sold out. But
Okay.
this is when SummerSlam was also in small arenas where it was a lot easier to sell it out. You know, this was before the stadium SummerSlam era. We're just sitting at Barclays. You just need to sell about 17,000 tickets. It wasn't hard to do because it was a thing. It was you will make a whole weekend out of the thing. So they were doing that very smart because they weren't coming to New York often because they knew they were coming for SummerSlam. So you wanted to get those tickets sold.
Now, everyone heading into not everyone, I keep saying that. Roman and Brock heading into this, people were not excited about this matchup. They thought, oh God, again,
Right.
because we've seen it over and over and again. So the Roman and Brock are in the ring. Out of nowhere, Braun Strowman music hits, and everyone, I remember watching this, like, holy shit, they're gonna save the day. So Braun announces he will cash in on the winner immediately. So he stands outside waiting for this match to end, which I loved because it added the element of like, okay, who's going to win? Because whoever wins is going to get cashed in on immediately by Braun Strowman. So it added another layer to this, though. So, nope, sorry, Braun, because you get F5 by Brock Lesnar. So you're
No.
taken out.
Not just F5. After he F5s him, Brock grabs the briefcase and throws one of the greatest throws I ever seen because he sends that briefcase from ringside to like backstage. Like it hit the wall where the ramp where they come out. It's what look at him. That throw was impressive. Brock Lesnar is a freak athlete, so.
Yeah, he's thrown car doors before, so he's easily throwing briefcases.
But it's so funny because if you think about it, thank God it went in that direction. That could have hit somebody in the crowd the way he just picked it up and tossed it. Like Brock Lesnar does not give a single F ever.
No, Vince would have been like, it's fine. We can just give the fan a couple t-shirts. They'll be happy. Yeah, here's a Vince McMahon shirt. When I got arrested, here's that free shirt. You'll love it.
You get to meet Brock, pal.
Yeah, you want to meet him? No? Well, you're going to meet him anyways.
Why not meet the guy that cracked my head open with a flying briefcase?
That's true. That's true. Why would you want to meet someone who like totally messed up your head and your brain forever with a briefcase to the face?
Allegedly, the kids that he hit with the Cadillac door got to meet him. That's what I heard.
Hey, good for him. No, I do like just Lesnar destroying Strowman, which really, because again, I'm all in on this Braun Strowman cashing in on somebody because I wasn't interested, at least personally as a fan.
Well, I didn't want to see Braun as champion. I know you were a big fan, but I wasn't. So at this point, I'm like, no, I want to stay in my Roman or Brock era. Get rid of him. Brock did that in the only way that Brock can.
Of course. And so Brock destroys Strowman, gets back in the ring with a steel chair. Roman spears him and wins his first Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar had the title for 504 days. The reign of terror is over, and the new reign of terror begins with Roman Reigns as our Universal Champion.
It's not a reign of terror.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I know. We'll talk about it on the next podcast, but this one it gets sad.
It does get immediately sad after this, but yeah, that'll be on next week's podcast of the history of Roman Reigns right here on the Wrestling History Channel. But, you know, last week we said that Kevin Owens might be Roman Reigns' greatest rival, but we'll have to do some math on matches when we get to the Tribal Chief era because I think
Brock is number 2. Brock
is number 2.
I know that Brock is number 2. I think I'm certain that he fought Kevin Owens more because of Raw and SmackDown's matches where Brock never wrestled there. But if you have to ask me, it's definitely Kevin Owens, Brock, and possibly Rollins. That's probably the top 3 that I will tell you, like off the top of my head without researching.
Of course. And I think the funny part about all this is Kevin Owens might have wrestled Roman Reigns more, but no one complains about that. Everyone complains about Roman versus Brock Lesnar. Why is that? Is it because fans like Kevin Owens because he's like them?
I think they were in a creative funk here because these are the matches that I don't like out of the rivalry. You know, like the WrestleMania 31 was great, and I do think the stuff that they did with him as the Tribal Chief was really good. Except for the WrestleMania in Dallas, that match was kind of there, but that last man standing match, whatever. I think they work well together. I don't understand why the hate for Brock. I think Brock is you know what, personal things aside, I never understood the lack of appreciation for Brock Lesnar, and talking about this era, not even talking about now. I never understood how people did not understand what we were having in front of us. Like, I'm like, you guys not see this guy's incredible.
Well, again, look at that 504 days of Brock Lesnar as champion. You'll find any championship match you hit on pay-per-view, all like holy shit moments. When you're watching it, you're like, well, I know it's supposed to be, predetermined. These punches are supposed to be pulled, but Brock Lesnar is killing Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, multi-man match. Like anytime Brock defended his championship, it was always a holy shit moment type match. Even though you might have kicked and screamed all the way to the event, when you got to the event, Brock Lesnar always delivered. So the hate on him is maybe a personal reason.
It's so unwarranted, in my opinion. Like, and even at this time, it's just unwarranted. This is what Brock does, and like a lot of times he'll go and squash your favorite, and I'm like, why are you shocked? This is what Brock does. Like, they thought of that throughout his history.
Yeah, and this year for Roman Reigns from SummerSlam to SummerSlam, I think I think it's a good year for him. I think we're finally seeing I guess he's leveled up a little bit. That John Cena, though, kicking off the year in No Mercy, really destroying him on maybe his confidence for that moment. Maybe Roman finally realized, okay, I got to level up here because there's other guys out here who can tear me apart instantly if I let them.
It's funny to look at it on retrospect because the beginning of this year, from SummerSlam to SummerSlam, could have really been the end if he let that John Cena thing just completely destroy his confidence. But he goes on to end the year winning the Universal Championship. So it was something that he was able to kick to the side, get over it, and move on. But one of his probably worst WrestleMania main events. As far as crowd reactions goes, I haven't had the heart to go back and rewatch this match. I just remember not hating it and hating that the crowd ruined it, but I just I can't watch it. I'm telling you, this podcast is like therapy to me because there's so many of these moments that we had talked about that I just cannot bring myself to rewatch just because I remember how deflated I felt watching at the time.
Well, it was very weird with Kurt Angle joining the Shield for a moment and Roman versus Brock twice, 3 times in about 7 months. So there's a lot of, do you like this time? Do you not like this time? Either way, the memories will last forever, folks. And I got to say, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Issa, about Roman Reigns here on the Roman Reigns podcast. Of course, some people are like, how dare you do a Roman Reigns podcast? Well, guess what, folks? It's a history channel. So this is history. 2018 is a long time ago when you think about it.
Crazy.
It's crazy. But thanks again for being here. Put up your ones for your tribal chief. I'm Steve. She's Issa. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The Wrestling History Channel, where legends never sleep. The Wrestling History Channel.